All right. Probably one of the interesting topic, which I feel that it would definitely add a value to the people who are still there in the, even in the bear market and attending a Monday evening conference. All right, let's begin with the thought, like how technology can be classified into bad. Is it really going towards a differentiating factor that these are some of the parameters to classify into good and bad? Isn't it all about who creates the technology should differentiate on this, that are we categorized into good or bad on what are the factors? Maybe we can start with any of you and then probably take the conversation forward with some of the points.
I'll start. Okay. Technology per se, I don't think can be classified as good or bad. As with most things, it's a tool, and it really depends on how you put it to use that would classify the end result as good or bad. So I think that's the straightforward way to look at that.
All right. Hello? Okay. My take is before we even classify a technology as bad, we need to define what is bad, you know. Yeah. Is it like X number of people who got scammed? Is it the X hours of system downtime? Is it like poor adoption rate? Or is it like, you know, high cost of maintaining the technology or the system? So when we got all these metrics, is there at least there's a very clear, quantifiable data that we can do some classification. But back to basics, I believe that technologies are usually good, you know. It's always the people. You know, we look at the intent and the purpose of what the technology is being used for. Take blockchain for instance. The technology is good, just that people who use it for bad purpose, right? To use it to scam other people. So that's my take, that technology itself to always look at who is using it and what its purpose is for. Yep.
I do agree on the part that technology overall, it should be on the good side. Take, for example, something that like Silk Road. Silk Road is a perfect example. The triangulation of the IP model is a beautiful piece of technology that has incredible purpose. But on the other side, because Silk Road was used for like all the illegal side, the deep market, and et cetera, as soon as the founder got caught, he got blamed for everything that was happening in the platform. And Silk Road was defined as bad technology at that point. In blockchain, we're seeing the same thing on that side. The ICOs. We're having ICOs that are good because the technology is good, and when a scam happens, automatically the technology becomes bad. It's kind of like there is a defined by like the coders that, you know, you put out a piece of content and you try to see what the market is doing with that. But then, unfortunately, we always forget about the part that the regulation side of that is always in place. And the two side needs to cooperate somehow. Otherwise, you're always going to end up at one point to have the technology defined as bad in that sense.
I have recently stumbled upon an article by Oxford. It says 83% of the jobs gonna be disappeared in next 10 years. Are we really moving towards a threat economy where the human capital will be at question with the machine-to-machine economy, or an open sharing platform which brings to a question what will my grandson and granddaughter will be doing in next 15 years or 20 years to get to this technological wave of so dynamic in nature? Maybe we can start.
So we're definitely moving towards the phase, and it has been a continuous move in the direction where more and more low-level jobs are being taken over by machines or automated machines or electronic machines and all. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because what it's doing is, from a short-term perspective, it may seem like certain people are losing their jobs, but over a medium and long-term perspective, people are actually moving up the curve and the society in general is moving up the curve where you're not doing the drudgery anymore. You're not mining coal inside the coal mines, but you're actually using yourself to do more value-added work. And I think that is always going to be the case where technology will relieve human beings of the short-term drudgery, and we can move up the Maslow hierarchy. Instead of working for food and, like those things, you will start now moving up towards self-actualization goals. So, yes, probably that report might be true, and 83% of people will lose the current jobs. But it is up to us as a society to ensure that these people get retooled, reskilled, so that they can start adding even more value, even more productive value to the world to create better lives for all of us.
You mentioned about a Maslow hierarchy. Do you think this will be outdated in the next 10, 15 years, or probably a new pyramid going to be created for an hierarchy measure where we can define that, okay, these are some of the needs which we require at the bottom, and then as we move up in the pyramid, these are some of the needs which will be required? I mean, you can think about it. I'll come back to you. And similar question on the lines that how we're going to take with the human capital.
Okay, I'm actually quite optimistic for the future. Even we know that technology could be disruptive, could disrupt certain jobs, but I also believe that new jobs will be added to kind of replace those outdated or obsolete jobs. In Singapore context, we just created 8 career pathways for blockchain and cryptocurrency. That means now there's 8 blockchain job titles that is recognized: cryptocurrency trader, cryptocurrency analyst. These are recognized job titles in Singapore. So that means even in the field of AI or robotics, I believe there's also avenues whereby government will create more jobs in this area. So that means we also believe in upskilling and reskilling of the workforce, always been preparing our workforce for the future. Even blockchain is classified under as a future-enabled skills. Like we are looking so far ahead of future that we are preparing our workforce for the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm very optimistic that even certain technologies will probably disrupt certain industry or jobs, but new jobs will be created for them, or new skills will be available. Yeah.
Would you like to pick some examples from the past where you have seen technology failures or technological impact doesn't really have the meaning in the ecosystem? That's for you.
Awesome. Well, if I'm considering, for example, the algorithms itself that you have now, some of them are already starting writing piece of code. Some front end, some designing that is automatically exported in CSS, for example. Predictable syntax analysis in the case of marketing. The PPC, all the programming ads. Even if we're taking back in the days, for example, when you were like playing bowling, back when you're like, you throw the balls, you have like a person back in like the beginning of the 20th century, where you had a man like going back and like pulling everything up, and now you have a machine doing that. That job disappeared. But 100 years ago, that was like a traditional, typical type of job. What we are gonna see is like automated vehicles, tracks, or like the entire like movements of like Grab, Uber, Gojek, and et cetera, and more we're gonna develop, more the technology and the algorithms, the AI are gonna like replace a lot of like the function and the type of skills that we're doing even today. Taking finance, the quant, the investments part. A lot of things even like that are considered white collar type of job today are start switching and becoming like more mass production or like more easy in terms of like entry barrier, because code is kind of like democratizing things, or is kind of letting everybody to jumping on that. Mentioning like what my colleagues said, it's true. There is going to be like new jobs coming on board and so on. But what if actually like that doesn't happen? What if like the the code simplified things at a level that there are no more jobs, or like the percentage is so unequal that people actually stop working on that. At that point, you basically move to a lot of things like universal income, or having robots or code start paying taxes for your job. You know, there are like a lot of books, there are a lot of movies that actually go on that path. And I do think, maybe not in 10 years' time, but maybe we're 50, 60, 80 years from now, we might start seeing something like that happening.
Interesting. So, if I fast forward to 2050 or 2080, like you said, 50 years at least, 50, 60 years at least, how do you see a role of a technology will be evolving for these startups, or some of the 3 key pieces of advice you want to give it to these startups working at present to adopt these emerging technologies, to shift their business models, and then move ahead in this phase of disruption? And the subsequent question, maybe you can answer it along with that. What a machine can do, what a machine can't do and a human can do it better. I mean, what are some of the traits which we still feel that a human tendency is required to do some of the tasks, like emotional quotient? I feel that's the biggest parameter and a barrier in the robotics. So maybe, would you like to start?
Maybe answer the sub-questions. I believe there's certain job areas whereby you need the personal touch. Like for our education line, you know, there's e-learning, you know, blended learning is very popular, but sometimes, you know, there's still a group of people who want to have a physical class to actually ask questions, ask relevant questions, and to feel that they are appreciated in part of their learning journey, and also they can have the kind of relationship with their trainers or even lecturers to build kind of rapport and the kind of a human relationship that a robots or even online learning kind of platform won't provide. Yeah. Even it's like face-to-face interaction video, you can't have that personal touch there. That's my take.
Do you still use Internet Explorer?
Nope. I use Brave.
All right. Maybe you would like to answer the second part first and then go with the first.
I think most of the things that we do are going to be programmable. And you talked about emotional quotient. There was a movie that I saw where the machine knows the human being so much more because of all the data points that keep coming into that data processing machine, that she knows exactly when to, or how to talk. I don't remember.
Her, right?
Huh?
Her. Movie called Her. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it was uncanny, right? I mean, or that machine understands the human being so much more. And I think that's actually one of the things that we need to be more aware of how we as human beings can potentially lose, social touch with each other. People seem to spend more time on their phones saying hello to virtual friends or trying to show what they're doing to the rest of the world than to the people who are literally next to them. If anything, in any way, a technology can potentially be bad, I think it is this, where people start losing touch with reality and living more and more in the virtual world. So getting them out of, I think, that reverse technology trend where you use technology, you own the technology, where you use it for your ends rather than becoming wrapped in it so that the technology starts using you and you become a slave to that.
Agreed. That's what I also wanted to say, that we need to differentiate that we don't want to become slave for the machines rather than use effectively for our purpose, which definitely has a meaning in the ecosystem. Some of the technologies which you have seen in your lifespan, which gets outdated over a period of time. Let's take an example, last 15, 20 years. Nokia phones is one of the best examples. Kodak is another as well. Blockbuster, obviously. we prefer Netflix or
There
Blockbuster.
is no technology that we grew up with that is still relevant today. So you can pick anything from your college years and it's irrelevant now.
True. All right, so maybe we can open for the questions because that's obviously coming to a conclusion of the conference. So any questions from the audience? How can they classify technology as bad? Not really bad. I mean, we have tried and put it in a different narrative that it's not really bad, but we need to classify what it has a meaning in the ecosystem or not, and how we are actually growing up towards achieving a purpose. Yes, please. Do you have a question, right?
We have a final 60 seconds, guys.
So, great panel. What you guys are discussing kind of reminds me about what Elon Musk says about AI. And if you guys just very quickly want to touch on that, like if it's not good or bad, but should it be regulated? And just quick comment from each of you would be awesome.
Well, if I would like to say, I like the comment of one of the previous speakers. He said, on the regulated part, does it really require it? And second is, if a blockchain has a CEO, it's not really a blockchain. So coming back on the regulation and of the technologies which are coming every day. I mean, this blockchain market is so dynamic. I mean, I've lost 8 kgs of weight just watching cryptos day and night. So what are your thoughts on the Elon Musk statement?
I don't remember which university actually ran the project of the AI that went like crazy. And then there was Microsoft that ran the AI on Twitter that became racist on that side. The thing is a little bit dead. I think that right now AI is still a little bit dumb. So we're seeing like mistakes happening here and there. And I don't think that we're yet on the point where like we can point a finger on that. If we get to a point where like AI might start making decision in terms of like, let's say, investing all your funds, let's say a robo-advisor. You have like an algo that like goes and lose 50%, 80%, the entire funds that you have. At that point, you don't blame the AI, you blame the company behind. So I think it's very, very far away or almost impossible that governments or regulators are actually going to like blame the AI itself, because even in the past, as mentioned on the case of Silk Road, people tend to point the finger to who made the creation. So I do not see that we're like yet to that point.
You want to add something?
Very much. I think we've run out of time actually. So can we give our panelists a huge round of applause, please? Thank you very much.
Just to add one line, I see a future that tomorrow we be going to a Starbucks and paying directly to a machine, because machines can conversate with each other. Hey, my cappuccino is getting over. Can I lend it Can I lend it from you? Or because the money at present is a dumb money, and cryptos definitely have a answer and a solution for it. We have seen the cases of non-profits. You actually give money to a non-profit, you cannot even track it where they're actually using it. So a disruption is yet to be seen, and the potential is yet to be unleashed. We all gonna be the colleagues in this technological wave rather than the competitors. Thank you.
Thank you very much.